Welcome back. If you just joined me, you're still watching Afia TV News Today, broadcasting live from Enugu State, Nigeria. And as part of measures to drive digital education, the Enugu State government recently announced a comprehensive initiative to construct 260 smart schools across the state's 260 ward. Now, this is even as the government has reportedly completed the construction of one smart school with contract awarded for 9 more in all the 260 smart schools will be constructed across the state in less than 14 months. Now, joining me live on News Today to talk about this initiative and other education-related issues is the Honourable Commissioner for Education, Professor Ndubueze L Mbah. It's good to have you, Prof, on News Today. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Now, let's move on very quickly to the concept of the smart school. So you to give us a background as to what necessitated this move and why it is crucial at this point in time.
Thank you. So several studies, World Bank, UNESCO, Federal Ministry of Education, research studies conducted over the last 4 years, tracking the Nigerian basic education system, identified several critical problems. One is that we have a learning crisis in Nigeria in our basic education system. This translates to 75% of our children who actually go through the full basic education experience from pre-primary 1 and 2, primary 1 to 6, and just 1 to 3 are showing demonstrable deficiency in literacy and numeracy compared to children from other parts of the world in the same age bracket. This has been defined as a Nigerian learning crisis that creating a problem where in the last 3 years of senior secondary school, and which is then the preparation for university and tertiary education experience as children are struggling. And this has been tied directly to the exponential increase in exam malpractice and the fact that we are now, we have an avalanche of miracle centers across the nation that our children can no longer write their own exams, but they have to rely on malpractices to succeed. And this problem, as you can see from this example, reflects our education pyramid, where you have at the bottom of the basic education, the middle stream of senior secondary, and then at the apex, you have our tertiary institutions. So it means that whenever there's a crisis at the bottom, our entire education system is already collapsing, right? So that is the one problem. The second is that we have a critical deficiency in education infrastructure, learning resources, and the availability of quality and qualified teachers. The third is that our curriculum, the federal curriculum for basic education, if fully delivered, it's a wonderful curriculum. But given all of these systemic problems that I have identified, right, the infrastructure, lack of learning resources, and most importantly, the availability of qualified teachers, we have not been able to deliver that curriculum. And the way that our teachers we do have, the way that are teaching and the way that our students are learning are creating this cycle of learning crisis. To add on top of this is a structural or superstructural problem, which is that from 2004, when the Basic Education Reform Law was passed, Nigerian states were expected to disarticulate, which meant move just 1 to 3 out of the physical structure of secondary schools and integrate them with primary 1 to 6 into a complete basic education infrastructure to deliver basic education. This is important because we have 48% non-completion of basic education in Nigeria. And for girl children, it's up to 55%. And the greatest spill-off point is at primary 6, right? So these are the problems. There's been experiments before His Excellency, Barrister Dr. Prof Ndubueze L Mbah came to office, and he decided to adopt a systemic approach to the solution, bearing in mind the fundamental preeminence of the factor of sustainability. And it's because of these problems and in profiling a sustainable solution that we have the initiative of the 260 smart schools across Enugu State. And what this means is that Enugu State is on track to become the first state in Nigeria to disarticulate, to achieve disarticulation, which is moving just 1 to 3 out, integrating them with pre-primary 1 and 2 and primary 1 to 6. So you have a complete basic education system. It solves an immediate problem. When you put kids in that program, you solve the problem of the spill-off at primary 6, because they will continue until they get to JS3, and so that problem is solved systematically. Secondly, is that we have mushroom schools built across every single political ward. You come in and you see 6 primary schools, 8 different primary schools, all of them poorly resourced. And so the built environment, our carbon footprint in our built environment is massive. It's not even possible to equip and maintain these schools. So one of the systemic solutions with this smart school is that we put one in a political ward with a capacity to accommodate 1,000 children. We concentrate investment in resources, in laboratories, in equipment, in trained teachers, in management staff, in school facilities, from sporting to library, from ICT labs to robotics labs. We concentrate all of these resources there. Each of these smart schools has 25 fully integrated digital classrooms that will connect our children to peers from around the world, right? And so when we putting a school in a ward and it's a magnet school, bring all the children in, we'll collapse these old mushroom schools, clear up our environment, and that is our sustainability. And each of these schools is solar powered. It relies on green infrastructure ethics. It's aligned, the entire basic education reform in Enugu State is aligned with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. Even the curriculum and the way we teach and what we teach and how we empower our children to take ownership of their own pathway to learning is aligned with a project-based learning system designed for children to identify what are the problems in Enugu State.
All right. I mean, quite.
And solve them in and outside of the classroom.
It's a wonderful initiative, actually.